Hello everybody. Welcome back. We're going to be jumping into the, I don't know why I did that. We're going to be jumping into the lower bracket now of Kharak Cup number 9. I think I mentioned this earlier, but the way this tournament worked, it was a bit of a new format. We had a lower bracket and an upper bracket, so this is the lower bracket. And the players here are going to play for spots 5 to 8 in the tournament. Let me just make sure my replay viewer mod is actually working properly. Yes, it is. Excellent. That is what I like to see. So, yeah, it's gonna be the same format as the upper bracket. So you have a semifinals and then a finals. In this case, if there were like actually 16 people playing in the tournament, then we could do quarterfinals in lower bracket. But that would be kind of crazy. Point is, yeah, this is still how do you say? Like the tournament goes on even for those people who previously would be eliminated in the qualifiers. So I think this is a nice system. It just lets people play more games, which is really what we like to do when we play in tournaments anyway. Gives me some more stuff to cast, which, yay! But no, actually I really do enjoy it, so I'm completely fine with that. And the match that we got right now is going to be between Maze, playing here as the Soban, and BlueBoo playing as the Conef. And I'd have to say Maze is probably the favorite for this series right here, but we'll see if maybe BlueBoo can, like, kind of learn something during his games here. Now, I believe they played each other in... No, that's not true. Never mind. They may have played each other in the qualifier. I was thinking the last round, but that's not true. But yeah, it's always interesting to see people in best-of-3 series. I think it kind of better reflects, like, their skill. Because then you also have time to adapt. You have time to kind of try to figure out your opponent's strategy and see if you can beat it. People can be a bit more versatile now. They can be like, well, because you're going to try to figure out my strategy, let me try to do something else now, you know, and fake you out and whatever. There's just a whole lot of fun stuff that can happen in these kinds of best of threes, so I really enjoy watching them a lot more, personally. You can see Maze out here with his probe has seen everything he needed to see from his opponent there, but I wouldn't be too worried if I were him. Generally, BlueBoo will come out here this far, but then he won't really push in with those skimmers. But Maze still, he tends to go for LAV fabrication. He's got it for sure. He's making a couple, so he's going to be excellently defended here. Definitely not going to get caught off guard or anything like that. May lose his base runner right here in the middle, especially as it's moving further away. Yeah, so base runner probably going to go down. Probe gets sniped there by the base runner as well. So these are some nice pickups for Blue, but he's not going to get anything tremendously huge from this. Now there's always a possibility that there could be some blast drone redonkulousness, but not in the foreseeable future, no. LAV fight here being taken quite well, I think, from Maze. Just because he's able to sort of isolate his opponent's units there. Right now, the focus fire is not particularly well. Oh, and he's taking high ground damage, too, because of this guy. So this one LAV you can have run straight towards the other guys to minimize the amount of damage he's going to take. But the focus fire is decent enough that he's definitely going to take this fight here. It's a good move there, attacking the one that's below you so you can get the high ground bonus. So most of the strike craft's going to go down here, but Maze will come out on top just barely. Probably just by like 1. But he can continue to pressure this now, because obviously the LAVs are going to win in a one-on-one fight here, but you also have that range advantage. And this is some pretty open territory right here. Not going to choose pressure though, he's just going to choose to fall back. I think maybe he wants to harass the space runner a little bit, which is making a blast drone, by the way. But at this point there's not really any particularly good targets for that left. Blue is going into railgun fabrication. Maze still hasn't picked the tech. I imagine he'll click on AV fabrication pretty soon, but I'm not sure. We'll just have to see, I suppose. But he has gotten armor 1 for those LAVs, which I guess is one of the reasons they were able to take that fight. I totally missed that, actually. He's now getting the boost pack as well, which could be a big deal. And that actually explains to me now, like, why he was staying so close to his opponent there, is he didn't want to let him get away. He knew he was going to take that fight, so he was like, alright, well then let's do it, my friend. You know what I mean? Now, Sandskimmer armor is being researched as well. At the same time, the LAVs are getting their damage upgrade now. So this is a part where I think they could probably do with boosting. Yeah, and they've boosted, but now they're actually running toward the enemy. Not sure how I feel about that. Probably you want to keep them further away. Try to utilize that range advantage as best you can. Tomcat literally just messaged me and said, like, hey, you want a 2v2? Like, take a break from 1v1 for a second. But, like, I did that this morning, man. Get with the times, yo. Anyhow, the micro is not turning out particularly well now for Maze. And Blue actually starting to take a better fight here. And he's forced out these 2 ALMs here. Obviously, Maze is going to want those eventually, but he's probably at like 80 fleet cap right now with like 20 population. So that's usually a good sign when you can do that to your so blown opponents. And yeah, I'm really happy to see that, because one of my biggest criticisms of Blue, as I'm sure you know by now, is that he doesn't tend to move out, you know, very proactively with all these units, so they're kind of wasted. And that seems to be fixed, at least at the moment. He's being more aggressive with them, which I think is really fun to see. Probably ought to just replace that rally point, but that's a small deal. I'm sure he'll be on top of that. There's a blast drone here, could do something funny, and it's not going to be able to do anything over here because of the ALMs, so maybe that's not a bad idea, but I don't think I would build another one if I were him. Not really sure what kind of value you're going to get out of it. Now, Mace had gone for AAVs, like I said. Doesn't have any railguns right now, and obviously that makes things a little tricky to deal with these assault railguns, which can counter the AAVs and the strike craft quite nicely. It's a very unique unit that way. Assault railguns, I think, are one of the most interesting units in the game. Oh, but you don't want to be near the ALMs. Ooh, because if the AAVs can close the distance, they're going to do very well against these assault railguns. Now, I guess he's got armor upgrades, which is very, very important. Armor 2, in fact. Okay, so he's probably not gonna run afoul of any AAVs here. I mean, we know how little damage they do in that scenario. But yeah, assault railguns are a very interesting unit because they're a very hard counter to AAVs and a very hard counter to strike craft. But then they're like really, really hard countered by railguns. So it's almost like this unit is just so interesting. It's either insanely good or insanely bad. It can never be in the mid ground, really. I find that very interesting. I find that very attractive. Probably one of my favorite units. But we all know my favorite is the missile battery, right? Or sorry, the missile ship, right? Smoking to get the AVs closer, I like the idea behind that, but they're actually not going to do any damage to these guys, so I'm not sure if it's worth it. Like, even with high ground, you'll see if he ever starts shooting at him, he'll do like 2 damage per shot, so, you know, only got hit him 325 times, right? That takes a while. A whole lot of blast drones getting put up on this base sprinter right here. I wonder what they could do, because AAVs are a pretty good counter, ALMs are a very good counter. There's only 4 strike craft on the field here. It's not likely they're going to be able to hit the eco. There is one heavy railgun, by the way, chipping into this fight from the distance, and that's going to make all the difference as well. A difference in what? He was going to win it anyway. I don't know, but you get what I mean. That'll be a very good fight for him. And now with 2 production cruisers up here on the front, he almost looks like he could transition into some of these kind of 2 production cruiser pressure styles that we've seen before. But instead he's going to get refinery mode, and I think that tells me he's planning on falling back here. That's probably the right move, because if your opponent's already on 2 bases, it's a little difficult to do this kind of stuff. And if he just falls back, gets up onto 3 bases here, he's going to have a very big advantage going into the rest of the game. So I think it's a good move. Really what I'd like to see him make, though, is more heavy railguns, although it's a little tricky at this point because he's kind of split up his army. But he's going to run in for a backstab, though, and there's nothing to hold this but ALMs, and they're good, but they're not going to do it alone. The idea, though, is that they tend to buy a lot of time. You can see another one having to get deployed here, though, and I guess there's a railgun somewhere. No, that's from the carrier, right? But I think that support cruiser ought to go down now, yeah? No, Blue! No! No! You can't leave until you kill this thing. Okay, good. maybe he did that cognitively, I'm not sure. Now, the blast drones are gone, by the way. I don't know what happened to them. But they gone. But yeah, support crews are going down there. Refinery mode finished now for BlueBoo. He needs to move these guys back, obviously, but he's in a really good position here. This is kind of insane, actually. And he's getting the dart maneuvered, yes! You know how much I love this, so... Yeah, look how good the AAVs are against the railguns, right? It's almost ridiculous. This is actually addressed in A-Game's patch. He didn't feel it should be this way, so he made their damage higher but their fire rate lower, I think, anyway. I don't know. I kind of like the AAVs how they are personally, but I can see like the reasons for it, and I assume he knows better than me why he's doing that. Yeah, AAVs, of course, getting absolutely wrecked there. Down you go. And production cruisers are going back to support the eco, at least one of them is. But yeah, obviously it would be really cool to see this one go back there as well. Well, I mean, it wouldn't be cool, it'd be kind of boring, but it'd be good. And yeah, Blue, I think, should just stick with railguns and assault railguns, and he basically has got this. I mean, he just needs to macro up and make, you know, just more units than his opponent. That should be the end. He should be able to easily do that. He can even throw in another production cruiser. Yep, there it is. It's on the build queue. Honor Guard cruiser fabrication coming out too, and that would be pretty deadly. And yeah, this is looking tremendously good for him to start off this series. Salvagers even starting to go down here now. No, railguns are out. Railgun fabrication is finished. That's going to make it a little trickier for the assault railguns. They're definitely going to have to be replaced more often and whatever. But he still has the heavy railgun numbers, and he's got armor 2 already. Okay, well, so does Maze. So I guess it's not that far off, and that makes sense, of course, if he was going with AAVs earlier. ALM's getting picked off here, though. I don't know if they show up on the units lost tab, but if they do, that would explain the very high number over on that side. That's one thing about ALMs, like, you can't just throw them out to, like, stop an attack that's going on against you, because they're expensive, and I mean, if they die, then that was kind of a waste, right? So I think Maze should be a little bit more conservative with them in general. But, oh, Heavy's not attacking the right unit here, but that's okay. Now, you know one thing that can actually do damage to railguns, assault railguns that is ALMs. They're only going to do 30 damage per shot, but like that actually turns out to be pretty significant when you only have, you know, like 600 health or whatever. It's pretty funny. It's pretty funny. So he's got the money for armor 3. I mean, he's going to use it on honor guard. Yeah, that's probably not a bad move. And Carrier's going to start moving out here too. I really would love to see this production cruiser move back. You're not gaining too much, I don't think, from frontline production here, and you'd be getting a lot from having it supporting your eco there. In fact, this production cruiser halfway between the two with mobility powered up is actually pretty cool. I mean, that's nice, but he could be fully on all 3 of those bases, and that would obviously be better. Here's what I mean about assault railguns getting heavily countered by rails, by the way. I mean, you can see them die so quickly to those Soban rails. And Blue's going to make more of them. That's what I like, actually. I think if he handles it correctly, getting the heavy railguns attacking the rails, which they're doing now. Hey, this is going to be good, too. He's on high ground. Oh, wow. Then, yeah, you know, the rail is pretty hard counter to the assault rails, but the assault rails shouldn't ever get killed by that, because if it comes to an outright rail fight like that, the assault railguns are going to die a lot slower than these Soban railguns are. Either that, or, I mean, he just can't focus on it, because if you're in a rail war and you're not attacking your opponent's railguns, you're going to lose, like, really fast, right? Speaking of which, yeah, there you go. Oh, wow, he actually did that, like, perfectly timed for when they were going to shoot. That's pretty nice. Otherwise, I would have had to wait another volley. Oh! Actually, that's the 5th artifact, so he wins. You can tell I'm really good at this kind of stuff, right? But yeah, that was really fun. That was really fun to see. I think that was just kind of well played by Blue in general, actually, coming into the late game. Some things that I still think he should have done, like move these guys back a little bit sooner. I don't know, get that 3rd upgrade. Obviously, that didn't end up mattering this time, but it could have. But, like, yeah, he handled that really well. Oh, and this is probably something he should improve on. But if this had gone on any longer, you know, Con F Carrier's going to come up with quite a lot of power in those cruise missiles, and there's an honor guard too, and I think eventually May's just going to have to fall. There's really no way for him to get back into that. Good constant pressure, and that's exactly what I've been not seeing from him in games previous, so that is really nice to see. Let's just go ahead and hop into the next one then, shall we? Which, by the way, this must have been Maze's pick, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. This one will be Blue's pick, and it's going to be Torrid Crater. Kind of a map that we tend to know for things. You know, it's one of those maps where it's a little harder to defend your base in the early game, and then late game railgun is going to be very important. There's a lot of open like territory, but this is kind of like the classic map to make a to do like an AAV rush or something like that, or like an assault ship rush. The reason being this dune like right here, which kind of, it's not as bad on this side actually. I think it's a little bit unbalanced there, but you can see it kind of cuts off that side there. Like the starting ALM, for instance, it's not going to be able to shoot there. If there are like rails in the back line, they can't shoot, so they have to come close, which is obviously dangerous. We see a similar thing on this side. It's better and worse at the same time, because there's a lot of very easy access to the second base, which is what you tend to want to do when you're doing these kinds of really early aggression, like 1 PC aggression, kind of like Blue tends to do. Maybe a little bit worse if you're going for something like AAV pushes or whatever, because you do have to cross this line here where railguns can be back there and shooting at you in order to, you know, get at the salvagers. But it's curious. You know, it's an interesting way that this map is laid out, and I think it shapes the games on it quite a lot. Pro getting sniped there quite early, but I think the base runner was retired as well. Yeah, okay. And with a retired base runner, I'm wondering what he's planning on doing here. But it was 6 on the CUs first. Okay, so it's gotta be Spore Cruiser first. I don't see what else he's going for with this. But he's making LAVs. I don't know. I'm not totally sure. We'll have to see. Yeah, Blue, of course, as is customary, moving out in the early game with some sand skimmers with that production cruiser. And he's doing a thing. Still no tech choice from either player here. Blue kind of taking a bit of a tergiversative way around to the carrier there, but I hope he pushes in at least a little bit just to see what he can do over there. Second ALM is also set up on that hill, so it's obviously not going to do anything about units that stay on this side of the dune. But no, Blue's going to back away, and this is not really what I like to see, obviously. I mean, I talked about it just last game, but especially getting the armor upgrades, like, you're going to want to attack with these things then, right? But he's not. He's just kind of backing away, it seems. So that's a little unfortunate. And I think perhaps the idea was to catch the opponent's base runner, but it's not there. And if you wanted to see if it was there or not, you just, you know, go ahead and send one of them. LAV's coming out right here, but the blast drone is out in a very good position, actually. You could just pop all 3 of these if you wanted to. Yep, there you go. So that's pretty cool. Here come the sand skimmers to respawn, and I think if I were Blue, I'd pop the smoke on this thing too. Just because, you know, I always talk about it, but the damage that this thing takes is permanent. There's no way to heal it, so not unless you're in a team game. One sand skimmer here, you're going to bite off a bit more than he can chew, but he'll pop over the dune. He'll be fine. Managed to do 90 damage! And, you know, that's actually relevant, but obviously a bit of a small deal in this case. I say that because, you know, as Soban especially, you have nothing to heal your units in the beginning, so any damage that the Galzian can do and then back away without taking damage themselves, like permanent damage, is very good for them. And that can be important to remember in a rail fight too. If your opponent's not particularly good at focus firing, you can get a lot of value out of that, but just by like popping in and out with the heavy rails. Not sure I'd recommend it against like better players, but since they'll heal up, if you're up against someone who's not going to focus fire very well, that can sometimes be good. I'd love to see this blast drink over here, because you know that there's this gigantic blob of Strikecraft over there. So this blast drone has like a very nice target, but he's so far away, like there's no way that target's going to present itself. It probably won't anytime soon here, but if it did, you're going to want to have this guy over there. And it's important to note that no amount of LAV armor, which Maze doesn't have, but if he did have it, no amount of LAV armor actually will stop the blast drone hit from killing them, I don't believe. Yeah, because he's got 500 health, that's 650 damage. What's 4 times... Yeah, so it shouldn't be able to stop one of the kills there. He's gonna boost away and get out. His opponent's got armor 1, so that's actually like a questionable trade. I don't know who comes out on top of that one. Blast drone here definitely not gonna come out on top though. You can see that pretty clearly. Now what the base runner can do is smoke as it moves up there, and you'll push these LAVs out. Like they can't stay there. But yeah, just gonna get used to pop off one of those LAVs. But there is an assault railgun out here now. Blue has to be a bit careful with it, obviously, but he should be able to get some really good trades over here. But yeah, imagine if those 2 blast drones were alive right now. They'd be really helpful, so. Sandskimmer's definitely chasing further than they had any business doing, though. But this blast drone is out. Pop the smoke. Oh, it's such a good ability. Not gonna get used to, though. And this assault railgun looks like he's pretty far out of position, too. Gonna get killed off, as well as by a boost. Oh, blast drone, go, go! Go for it! Takes a bit of an odd angle, but he is going to get 4. That's not bad at all. Artifact gets taken out by the LAVs. just like the one that Valve made. Oh, a heavy. Ooh, don't like that. It's a very expensive unit, and it's just gonna get killed here immediately. I would have canceled that one. Yeah, you can see it's a very attractive target. It just goes down immediately. And these assault railguns are way too close as well. Oh, I'm not liking this. So one of them gonna get picked off there as well. Only 3 sandskimmers are left, and that buffer is beginning to erode. And how has this happened? Just like a couple of bad micro exchanges, just over and over, like, you know, in a row. And I think suddenly this army's not looking very good, whereas it was definitely looking even or perhaps even better just before this. Definitely wants to power up this carrier though. 2 power in the weapons, and obviously range is given for free to the Conef, and he'll be in business as far as stopping this push goes. Gonna put him in the cruise missiles instead, and I think that's not like necessarily a bad idea, but it's gonna be difficult to hit those LAVs, right? They're not very easy to hit. I'd like to check what his range is, but I imagine with power 2 it's like around here somewhere. So I'd like fire 2 there right now. But yeah, I think it's probably better just to put it in the close combat weapons, save up to refinery mode, and then move your carrier out to the second to hold off this this blockade. But he's got to do it quick too, because Maze has got a support cruiser out. He's going to be expanding, and another assault railgun goes down there. There's none left right now. And Blue can actually probably fight this using just skimmers, but it's going to be difficult. Taking into assault ship fabrication right now, I think that's a bit of a... Like, that's a reaction to how well the Strikecraft fights have been going to Maze, for Maze. But, I don't know, I'm not sure if that's going to turn it. And the damage has kind of already been done. You can see he's just kind of leaving now. So yeah, Blue's going to have to save up to refinery mode, just be a little bit later to the draw than his opponent, who should be able to get another support cruiser by the time that's finished. Getting the mag accelerator, huh. That's a bit curious. I mean, normally you don't get that until you're going to enter a railgun fight. That's kind of what I have thought anyway. But especially not now, as there are no, you know, railguns on the field at all. Yeah, May's pretty close to 600 Cs. I wanted to make another support cruiser right now. I think that'd be the move for him, and just kind of don't worry about keeping up the attack, because right now you've already kind of done the damage. There are a lot of sand skimmers though, so LAV is not a bad choice. He's got AV fabrication too though. I think that covers him a little bit better in a way that he doesn't have to make as many units to do it. But he may be shying away from that because he knows his opponent has got railgun fabrication, which is a fair point. Now, one thing I do like is the way that Blue is moving out in different directions with the production cruisers. I feel like there's a chance that he could catch his opponent off guard this way, but Maze is sending guys off to this side though, so it doesn't look like this will catch him really that off guard. He is gonna have to have an answer to the assault ships though, but he's got railgun tech finished. He can just make some of those. So yeah, it's SC time, my dude. I think he should make one. Blue really likes the guard command, doesn't he? This is just what happens if you don't set a rally point for units. You can see the damage done by these assault ships is very good against Strikecraft, and that's not easily healed either. They'd have to go to the support cruiser and wait for quite a while to fix that damage, because that's like the damage of... That's like the health of 2 LAVs probably that was done there in just a couple of volleys. Assault ships are really nasty units if you can get them in the right spot. And the boost of obviously making the LAVs kind of stupid fast, but this is a rundown, make no mistake. And a lot of LAVs gonna go. Oh. Well, he broke off just then. I mean, I feel like with only 3 left, that was probably a good opportunity to keep moving. This is a lot of LAVs though, and Maze really seems to enjoy these things. I think going into assault ships actually was a very good move for Blue, because originally I was a bit skeptical. I was like, you already had assault railguns, and they're like a really good counter too, but if they're really en masse like this, assault ships are going to do much better. And it's going to be honor guards again for Blue. Wow, that's very interesting. And they could fare rather well here, I think it's safe to say. obviously when your opponent has this many LAVs, you know, nasty things could go down there. In fact, we saw it in the qualifier, yeah, between Maze and Descara, which is not surprising if you're someone who, like Maze, who makes so many LAVs. You know, you shouldn't be too surprised to see yourself getting hit by honor guards rather frequently. Oh, this isn't good though. Ooh. I think actually, yeah, this production cruiser is gonna go down here. Is it? Oh, did it get out of range? Yeah. It did get out of range, but actually there's no escape for it still, though. No! No! Fake news. Fake news. I don't even care what's happening over here. You go kill that production cruiser. Okay, yeah, he's at it over there. Alright, good. That would have been the choke of a century, man. Because that's obviously rather an attractive target. And in fact, Blue can't move him back in. He doesn't realize that the LAVs are here to capitalize. And down he goes, and there goes 300 CUs for nothing too, because he had queued up all those units already. And I think we might see a similar thing happening over here too. LAVs will be coming in pretty soon. It won't take too long, and railguns in this position being very good. They'd probably go after that heavy, but I think Maze has got death on the mind. Wait, is that it? He's got blood? No. I was about to say he's got blood in the eyes, but that can't be it. Oh, actually, you know, I was totally wrong, though. He does get that production cruiser, so that's completely fine. I know he's going to want to take out that rail, probably, but whatever he does, it's going to be good, I think, at this point. Unless he just charges all these LAVs right into the assault chips, but... it's not even going to matter, it seems. Well, it could. Oh, okay. Played that one a little close to the chest, but he made it out. And, yeah, that's pretty much as bad as this could have gone for Blue. To be fair, he's going to have honor guards pretty soon, and that can help with a big mass, but this many railguns is going to kill an honor guard cruiser way too quickly. Astronomical salvager here, by the way. Dang, this one's really far up, too. I don't think it can beat that one from Gaussian territories, though, but he got rather far. And the thing I love to think when I see this happening is, like, this is not exactly small scale. I mean, I can't remember exactly how big it is. I think it's something like 500 meters here, right? So that must have been several kilometers in the air. Probably like, I don't know. That could perhaps have been like 25, 50 kilometers in the air, somewhere in that range. And that's pretty high. I don't know exactly what the atmosphere is like on Kharak, but I imagine that could be considered space. You know, just based on how heretical you are, right? It's no wonder the Gaussian hate these people, you know. Anyhow, Maze getting heavy vehicles armor 3. Excuse me. Refiner mode just now coming down for BlueBoo, as well as this other production cruiser. I mean, he's miles behind right here, and I'm amazed that Maze is not pushing. Hey, hear that? I'm amazed. Anyway, I'm amazed that he's not pushing out here. I mean, like, this is the definition of momentum. You know what I mean? Like, but it's just not really being used. It's like, man, it's like when you're running up to the net to jump in volleyball. You gotta put that motion up in the air. If you just stand there and then jump, you might as well have not been running, you know what I'm saying? And maybe Maze is worried about, well, I mean, obviously he's worried about air. He's getting anti-air right now. It's actually not a bad move, right? But, like, man, I don't care if there's, like, 2 or 3 interceptors in the field. You could probably kill your opponent's carrier with this thing. You know, I think he really needs to be moving out here. I'm gonna pick up an artifact, which is nice. Probably ought to get on 3 bases, too, if you can, but... In fact, what's his resources like? Yeah, actually, not really a very big float at all, so... Not like that game between Trent and A-Game that we saw recently, right? They were floating like balloons, man. No offense. Yeah, LAV's just kind of parked at home. Railguns just like chilling in the corner here. I don't know. I don't know, man. I don't know. Blue, to his credit, doing basically what he should to restabilize, getting production cruisers out, getting a bit of an army. Honor guard cruisers, he's gonna have 2 of them now, and that gets really dangerous for these railguns, obviously. But I think maybe it takes 3 shots from an honor guard cruiser to kill a railgun at that kind of health. In which case, like, unless you have 3 of them, when they're unsupported, they're not really gonna do anything against this. So this could get really hairy really fast for Blue. I mean, to be fair, it was really hairy a long time ago, but it could end for him, I suppose I'm saying. I feel like it should be over already, but we'll have to see. Now, this Honor Guard cruiser being very gutsy, just moving right out into the fog of war like that. Blue, I reckon, has got to know that those railguns are out there somewhere. And here's the support cruiser, probably just a bad rally point, but he's going to move over there. He's got to know that those railguns are out there somewhere. He doesn't want to run into them, I don't think. Not until he's got, like, a significant force of HGCs. And to be fair, like, when these things get massed up, it's kind of ridiculous what they can do, but there's only 2 of them, which is good, but you're going to need a lot more to contend with this railgun army. Now, the LAVs, on the other hand, they could die in one shot, which is always pretty fun to see, but... And we may see it just right now, actually, if the LAVs choose to push in here. Honor Guard is moving that direction, but there's not very much distance for him to charge up his shot. LAV is going to get spooked and run, but using the boost, they did that. They could have gotten on top of that, and I think they could have killed that, actually. But now Blue knows, at least. Okay, so there's LAVs over on that side. Okay, here comes the rail war, and this is really big. Savant Rail's targeting like LAVs or something though. They definitely want to be going after this Honor Guard cruiser. God, they're still doing it. Okay, there we go. Target firing is coming in now, but yeah, Honor Guard cruiser actually is targeting AAVs himself. He's not going to get any good shots off. These 4 rails could have died, but you saw how fast it went down afterward. And hopefully this time Maze doesn't wait, because he can definitely just push in. There's one more Honor Guard cruiser to deal with, and then he's basically home free, yeah? And I imagine he's making more railguns off the back of... Whoa. 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 He's gotten support cruiser anti-air too. But he definitely wants to push on, kill this Honor Guard cruiser. Which again is not targeting the railguns. It's pretty unfortunate. It's going to go down basically for nothing. And at that point, there's really nothing left, I don't think, that Blue can really hope to accomplish in this game. Eco is going to be absolutely destroyed, and I think the carrier will just fall afterwards. Mace, come on. Alright, there we go. Yeah, now he's starting to move out. Oh, wow, look at that. Dang. That was unexpected. That was a really good shot. Oh! Blue is showing us his skills with those cruise missiles there. That was really nice to see. But yeah, at this point I'd say it's more than acceptable to GG out of the game. If you're Blue, this is obviously not going to go your way. So one carrier even going to try to get involved here, which is always fun to see. And it can, you know, shoot like 2 or 3 railguns during the entire fight. But that carrier is gonna die. Well, don't just stand there. You believe this guy's a commander? Doesn't look like it. Okay, there we go. We'll just go ahead and get the 3rd map here. So it is going to go to a 3rd map. I wouldn't have suspected that. I didn't give my prediction before, but I thought it was going to be 2-0 to Maze actually. But no, Blue taking the first one. But yeah, I think Blue once again was in a pretty good position in this game, but didn't quite capitalize on it this time. I'd like to see him be a lot more proactive with those blast drones. They kind of just wait around and then they run in there and get killed in sort of a silly way. 3rd map going to be Gaussian territories, and this is Maze's pick. That's kind of interesting. This is one that we tend to think of as like the upset map. Like if you want to win a match that you don't think you can, you pick this one. Not necessarily true actually, but one thing it's really good for is these like double production cruiser openings that, you know, Sparrow would love to do, for example, or Catharsis has done that on this map very effectively. But it all really depends on where you spawn, doesn't it? And Blue is going to get the low ground spawn here. That should favor, what's his name? Maze in the long game. But in the early game, you know, there's potential for like double production cruiser shenanigans up here. But given that we've never seen Blue do that before, I don't think we're going to see it now. And by the way, I learned why he's putting his rally point out here. He didn't actually know that there was such a thing as an eco rally point before, like, during this tournament, so he knows now. Just set a rally point right on that thing and they'll go there. That's kind of impressive then, isn't it, that he's managing to, well, managing to manage his economy, I guess. Oh, I was like, how come Group 1 is not showing me the carrier? Well, I didn't actually assign it. So, Galaxian Territories. Everyone's favorite map, yeah? I think this one has a lot of, you know, it has a lot of very interesting, like, features as a map, and like, the fact that, it's sort of known for, like, the fact that the two spawns are so different means that it's actually pretty good to have in our rotation. It's a fun one to have. It's just that we don't use it in the qualifier for the reason that, you know, we think that, we don't want someone to have to play on this map who doesn't want to. We want this one to be, like, bannable. Because, you know that you might end up on the low ground spawn or just, like, get kind of a bad position in this map. So we want it to be a bit of a gamble if you're going to pick this one. Like, this is a map that you pick to be a specialist on. So if it shows up in the qualifier pick based on the RNG, I don't think it's really particularly good. Not sure if I ever explained that before, but that's, like, the reason why this map isn't in the qualifier, but it is in the best of 3 series. Now, you might say, really, you want it to be like a map that you can, like, that you never know exactly what's going to happen, it's a little bit more random? That's so dumb. It's like, well, hey, look, man, we can't choose what the maps are. The other reason why it's in the pool is because otherwise we have we have a shortage of 1v1 maps, right? If you're going to ban one, pick one, then if there's only 6 maps, there's only one map that doesn't get picked. Like, the more maps are in the pool, the more consideration you have to give to which ones you're going to pick and ban and whatever, so. And I think 7 maps is a really good number for a best of 3 series. Like, that's what they do in Counter-Strike, for example. They've got 7 maps in the pool, and then you ban one, the other team bans one, you pick, they pick, and then you pick. It's kind of off, like, the same system there. So pray tell, my little green friend, where are you going here? Once again, looks like the typical BlueBoo stuff. He's not really doing much with those units. They're just kind of chilling out in the middle, but Maze isn't really either. Kind of an interesting standoff we got going on between these guys here. Whoa. This production cruiser can go down pretty quick. You don't want to just run in there. Sandscum's going to have to deal with this, and they may take some losses, but they are coming right over the dune, which is good. It looks like they've kind of scared those LAVs off. That was really dangerous, though, and this blast drone, ooh, could get some nice... Don't go over the dune! No, okay. Look at the airtime on that thing. Well, I mean, technically it's always in the air, but you get what I mean. Okay, good. So actually Blue, with some pretty sweet moves, manages to hold that one off right there. And he's got assault ships out now, so he shouldn't really be too worried about these LAVs. But he can't push them, can he? He can just kind of get... He can kill them if they come after him. This blast drone, again, in a very bad position. But if he can get behind this little dune here... no, it's just going to get taken out. Okay, but yeah, now you push in with those assault ships, right? From high ground 2, and there's another one here. Ooh, this could be really good for Blue. But all of his Sandskimmer force is going to go down first. And I think Maze is trying to kill that production cruiser, but that's not really ever going to happen, is it? I think that was actually not as good for Blue as I was projecting, which is pretty typical when you're talking about assault ships, right? Oh, and he's gotten behind the army, so he can go raid the eco now if he wants to. Okay, so Blue, you definitely need to power up your weapons here. I'd say up to 3. And then pull these guys back. But look, the double extraction going to go down here. That's pretty interesting. And I don't think that's going to be contended. However, salvagers are getting killed here already. Power the weapons, men! What are you doing? Cruise missiles get powered up again. Kind of same as I thought earlier, or like last game. I don't think that's really the right choice against LAVs here, but... Because yeah, the cruise missiles can be good, especially because Blue does not seem to be... He does not seem to be inept with them. Like, he's pretty good at hitting them, but Yeah, I think the weapons, you know, it does it for you. You don't really have to worry about it. Anyway, LAVs are going to get cleaned up, but there's been some pretty serious economic damage that's been done here. Certainly worth it for Maze. And with these railguns out here too, he's ready to start taking some momentum because he knows his opponent is using assault ships. He can just drive out across the map. He shouldn't get lazy here. This is obviously the ace match. You know, you can't lose this one. And his opponent is getting refinery mode already, so if you don't do anything, you will still fall behind. But he's very ahead right now. He's very ahead right now. Yeah, and I'd honestly just like to see him save up for production, or yeah, I mean that'd be cool. But save up for a support cruiser at this point. Just expand on that second base. And his opponent is on 3 artifacts. That's worth noting. I think that's not irrelevant. Railgun's gonna fail to hit this blast drone several times, but they do get it eventually. Those greedy LAVs, of course. Jim and Cartier are gonna steal the kill, right? I'd be upset if that was PUBG, I'll put it that way. Cartier Ton Armor? Oh, and I didn't notice this, but he has actually made the support cruiser, which is exactly what I wanted to see. There is air coming out this time, which is funny because Maze was really worried about air last time, but now it's actually going to come and he's not ready for it. But he still has definitely momentum here that he could use. These LAVs honestly could probably jump on this production cruiser if they can just get the assault ships out of the way, which they will, right, if they're getting chased by railguns. Oh, you gotta keep moving though, this window's going to close eventually. By eventually I mean actually rather soon, I think. And you also... Oh wait, no, he's got LAVs, doesn't he? I'm so smart, guys. Yeah, I mean, he can obviously just use these to shoot down the interceptors. If there's enough of them, that works just fine. And it's not like they've got anything else to shoot at, so they might as well, right? Interceptor's gonna get launched, but I think this production cruiser goes down anyway. And if I were Maze, I would let the railguns die for this. This is important. But now I'll probably boost and get out, yeah? Boost! Boost! Oh dear, spending a lot of time getting shot by these assault ships, and actually they're pretty much all going to go down. Actually, no, not quite, but they're at very low health, to say the least. Okay, there we go, getting targeted against those air units now. But it's a little too late. I mean, the LAV's got the boost that can catch those air units, you know what I mean, but it wasn't really used in this case. And BlueBoo came in for another pass, which has proved to be very detrimental for him, but he didn't need to. I say very detrimental. It was actually only 1 interceptor, wasn't it? But it makes a difference, you know. It looks like Maze just wants to kill this thing while it's still being sundered, but he'll take losses, of course, doing this. Or a loss, I suppose. But I imagine there's more than one guy crewing this thing. But yeah, production cruiser getting taken out again for BlueBoo here. Now this is pretty rough. We should just see a repeat of last game, I think. And this time missile batteries are coming out with the railguns, and yeah, Maze can just kind of waltz over here. Do whatever he wants. Oh, look at that shot. He's really good at that, you know, I gotta say. It's kind of incredible sometimes, just like what he's doing there. Wow. Private Pile, I think I finally found something you're good at. Sir, yes, sir. Yeah, Maze probably ought to just expand here, right? In fact, when the second production cruiser comes out here, there's a chance that Blue's economy could actually be bigger than Maze's, and that would really be kind of an embarrassment. But he probably is expanding to it, I just can't tell. I say that because he has been fairly consistently in the past, and obviously the production tab not working very well. Yeah, he just queued up 3 LAVs, but I'm sure he will. He will do it, don't even worry. He will do that one. Interceptor's getting taken out there by the LAV and the missile battery. I think it was actually only one that went down, but there's only one left in that case. See him docking, but he's actually invisible here. It's a mysterious thing. Most mysterious. I feel like we got a bit of Phantom Dune syndrome going on over there. Did not look like those two had line of sight on each other. That's an interesting noise that the railgun makes when it hits. Oh, I was about to say this missile battery can fire mortar on these guys. I was like, Not exactly. Smoke was actually popped there, but the base runner is moving, and when they move a little bit outside of the way of the smoke, and so they can still get hit there, as you can see. But yeah, it's a very interesting thing that DOK does with the line of sight and how it's like very literally interpreted, but the way that they make their maps, from what I understand, is like using a height map on like Photoshop or something like that. If anyone actually knows about these programs, I probably sound like really a noob when I talk about them, but that's alright. And then they have like some kind of tool that they must have been using at BBI or something like that to give it like line of sight blockers, but I think if they would just have like a tool that just read the height map and then gave it line of sight blockers based on that, that would have been a lot better, because then you would never run into these kind of problems, which are sometimes sort of hard to find at first, I assume. Interceptors launch here, but they just get smashed immediately. And the carrier's actually perhaps going to get killed by 4 railguns, which is a little sad. Yeah, I think Blue is going to have to go down here. And that should be the end for him. As another production cruiser goes down as well. I mean, obviously it's the end for him whether he dies here or not, but I believe that he is going to. I keep acting like it's not certain, right? He's got 120 health left, so yeah, that's the end. But you know what? I think he's fought well in this series, actually. I think he should be pretty proud of this. Things to improve on are just the same as they were before, you know? Be a bit more proactive with those units in the beginning. He's expanding faster, which is good. But yeah, I think before too long he'll be able to give a lot of players a run for their money. I think he's got a lot of potential, just some things that he needs to work on. And his skill with the Conf cruise missile is really surprising, actually. Like, I'm really pretty impressed with it. So, keep it up, man. You'll do great things someday. But Maze is going to be the one who moves on to the lower bracket finals, so hooray for him. And we'll go ahead and see you guys next time. We'll go ahead? That didn't make any sense.